Welcome to Divine Therapy Inc. Before we begin this deep immersion into the center of your mind, I want you to find a place of absolute stillness. This is a journey for your focus, a long and peaceful walk through the architecture of your own attention. Ensure your environment is quiet. Let the world outside your door fade away. Close your eyes and visualize a soft, silver light beginning to glow at the center of your forehead, spreading slowly like a calm lake across your thoughts. Today, we are speaking to the part of you that feels scattered. We are speaking to the part of you that starts 1,000 projects but finishes none. We are speaking to the one who feels overwhelmed by the digital noise, the endless pings, and the heavy pressure of the to-do list. This is the story of a girl named Lyra and the Library of Focus. Lyra lived in the city of shifting sands. In this city, nothing ever stayed the same for more than a minute. The buildings changed colors, the streets moved like snakes, and the people were constantly running from one thing to the next, their eyes darting back and forth as they checked their glowing glass tiles for news. Lyra was the most scattered of them all. Her mind felt like a room full of butterflies, each one pulling her in a different direction. She wanted to be a master clockmaker, but every time she sat down to work on a tiny gear, she would hear a bird chirp, or think about a book she hadn't finished, or wonder what was happening in the town square. Her dreams were gathering dust because she could never stay in one moment long enough to build anything real. She felt like a failure, a ghost in a world of producers. One evening, exhausted by the noise of her own mind, Lyra found an old, moss-covered door in a part of the city she had never seen. Above the door was a sign carved in ancient wood that read, "The Library of Focus." 1 minute inside is a lifetime outside. Lyra stepped through the door, expecting to find rows of books and quiet scholars. Instead, she found herself in a vast, infinite hall made of white marble that seemed to glow from within. The ceiling was so high it held its own clouds, and the shelves stretched up into the misty heights. But the strangest thing was the books. They weren't sitting still. They were hovering in the air, vibrating with a strange, restless energy. A man with a long, ink-stained coat approached her. He was the librarian of moments. He didn't speak with his voice, his words appeared as golden script in the air. He told Lyra, "Welcome to the archive of the unfinished. Every book you see floating here is a task you started but did not complete. Every vibrating page is a thought you allowed to distract you from your purpose. You cannot leave this library until you learn the law of the gaze." Lyra looked up and saw thousands of her own unfinished books. She saw a book titled The Half-Built Clock. She saw another called The Letter Never Sent. The sheer number of them made her dizzy. She felt the familiar urge to run to a different shelf, to find something new and exciting to look at. The librarian handed her a small, heavy magnifying glass made of pure diamond. He said, "The diamond does not create light, it concentrates it. Your mind is currently a flashlight with a broken lens, scattering light everywhere but illuminating nothing. To focus is to become a laser." He led her to a desk in the center of the hall. On the desk was a single, blank book. He told her, "Sit. Your task is to write one sentence. But there is a catch. In this library, the books are alive. If you look away from the page for even a second, the book will fly away to the highest shelf, and you will have to start again." Lyra sat down. She picked up a quill. She decided to write, "I am the master of my time." She wrote the first word, "I." Suddenly, she heard a loud crash behind her. It sounded like 1,000 glass plates breaking. Her instinct was to jump up and see what happened. Her head began to turn. But she remembered the librarian's warning. She forced her eyes to stay on the white paper. She felt the sweat break out on her forehead. The noise behind her grew louder. She heard people calling her name. She felt a phantom itch on her shoulder. She realized that these were not real noises, they were the distraction demons of her own mind, trying to steal her gaze. She focused on the tip of the quill. She saw the way the black ink soaked into the fiber of the paper. She saw the tiny imperfections in the wood of the desk. She wrote the next word, am. As she focused deeper, the world around her began to change. The marble hall vanished. The noise stopped. It was just Lyra and the page. She realized that focus was not a struggle against the outside world, it was a surrender to the present moment. She felt a deep, cool peace wash over her. It was as if she were underwater, where the chaos of the surface could no longer reach her. She finished the sentence, I am the master of my time. The book did not fly away. It began to glow with a steady, golden light. It landed softly on the desk, solid and finished. The librarian reappeared. He told her, you have learned the first secret. Focus is not a wall, it is a choice. You think you are distracted by the world, but the world is only filling the space you leave open. When you are fully present, there is no room for the noise. He then showed her the second secret, the gallery of small wins. He led her to a room where thousands of tiny, beautiful statues were kept. Each one was no bigger than a thimble. He said, people fail because they try to build a cathedral in a day. They look at the giant pile of stones and they become overwhelmed, so they go back to their glowing glass tiles. But a cathedral is just 10,000 small stones laid with focus. He gave Lyra a single stone and a chisel. He told her to carve a single leaf. Just one leaf. Lyra spent 2 hours on that one tiny task. She didn't think about the rest of the statue. She didn't think about the time. She only thought about the curve of the leaf's edge. When she was done, she felt a sense of accomplishment more powerful than any new project had ever given her. She realized that the joy of finishing something small was greater than the excitement of starting something big. Lyra stayed in the library for what felt like years, though only an hour passed in the city outside. She practiced the deep gaze with everything she did. She learned to tune her internal radio to a single station. She learned that procrastination was just a fear of the big book, and the cure was to just write the first letter. When she finally stepped back through the moss-covered door into the city of shifting sands, she was no longer a ghost. She walked back to her workshop. She picked up the tiny gears of her clock. The city was still noisy. The streets were still moving. The people were still distracted. But Lyra was a diamond. She sat at her bench, picked up her tools, and for the first time in her life, she didn't look up until the clock began to tick. If you are listening to this today, and your mind feels like the city of shifting sands, I want you to imagine that you are entering that marble hall. See the floating books of your own unfinished tasks. Do not judge them. Do not feel guilty. Just acknowledge them. Now, see yourself sitting at that white desk. What is the one sentence you need to write today? What is the one stone you need to carve? The distraction demons will come. They will whisper about your emails, your social media, and your worries. They will tell you that you are missing out on something. But you must remember the diamond magnifying glass. Your power lies in your narrowness. By choosing one thing, you are not losing the world, you are finally gaining the ability to change it. Take a very long, deep breath. Inhale the stillness of the library. Exhale the dust of the shifting sands. Feel your gaze becoming steady. Feel your heart becoming quiet. You are not a victim of your ADHD or your wandering mind. You are a conductor who is learning to lead a complex orchestra. It takes time. It takes practice. But the music you will create is worth the silence. At Divine Therapy Inc., we believe that your attention is the most valuable thing you own. It is the currency of your soul. Do not spend it on things that do not love you back. Invest it in the single leaf, the single gear, and the single breath. Stay in this space of concentrated light for a few more minutes. Visualize yourself finishing one small thing today. See yourself closing the book and feeling that golden glow of completion. You are the master of your gaze. You are the keeper of the library. You are focused, you are capable, and you are at peace. Thank you for journeying with us. Go now and lay your first stone. Until next time, stay in the focus and remain in the light.